The kids started celebrating when they won the coin toss. And the coach said, "Did you really win? What are you celebrating?" And these moments are teaching moments.
He got the most valuable player award, and then he told the organizers on the mic, and I'm talking about a 10-year-old. He says, "I don't deserve it. My team member deserves it." And even for a win, I think you have to reflect. Sometimes you might have won, but not just because of what you did well, but because, of certain other reasons.
Yes.
And it's important. Reflection, I think, is really, really key.
The education system these days, they talk a lot about removing the element of competition from their students' life. I don't know how much you still hear about it, but there are no exams, no ranking in classes. All of those elements are taken away because somewhere schools feel that, hey, we don't want to bring in an aspect or an element of competition within the system here. One, how do you handle that? In sports and life, it's not really possible, and because you play to reach an end goal. There is going to be a winner and one who is not a winner or a loser, right? What is your take on that new age system of raising children, and how do you handle competition in your business?
So this is something which we always speak about, So we and I'll be honest, we're quite conflicted, because as a sport, it is important. It is also nice for the children, to have matches with each other, and there is an outcome. It's not that you don't have an outcome. And how do you reward those outcomes? Or do you not reward these outcomes and say you just play? But children are children, and they do want. So, but at the same time, we've also realized that, we have to reward the ones who did put in their effort, right? And there has to be some seriousness that comes out of it, because unfortunately, if you say, okay, all of you get medals, all of you do this, there's no seriousness aspect about it. So we do have match days every Saturdays in our centers, and those match days, we don't reward them. They play just for the sake of playing, and it's 2 hours of match days. But certain times at the end of a quarter, we do have like a center versus center, or we have where there are medals. And we also then reward for also someone who is a promising player, someone who's given effort, someone who's shown fair play, someone who has taken, and those are things which we kind of also want to show and recognize children who are putting in the effort.
We have a monthly award where where coaches nominate players from all over, and it's the milestone award, and it's the other is the fair play award. So it is kids who have made a difference on the turf or in the field during that month.
Or maximum attendance award.
The best attendance award. What is a best attendance award? It recognizes the parent and the child's effort. Commitment to be there when they're supposed to be and be there consistently, right? And I think that's a valuable award to give, because you're saying, I respect that you respect what we are offering.
Right.
The second thing is the fair play award, that it is, have you been a fair person on the field? Have you been, respectful of who else is on your field? And every month there are nominations. It's always interesting when the nomination process is going on, because we ask them the reason for the nomination, right? And you get really lovely answers, like, this child's water bottle broke, so somebody offered them their water bottle. The parent may not be happy hearing this,
Right.
but, but it's little things like that show that you are part of the community that is there, then present, you're fully present, you're aware of what's going on, and you're trying to help somebody else in that situation. Then there's a milestone award. The milestone award is not about the player who's the best. It's about the player who shows the most progress. I can start from 0 and reach 5 versus someone who's a 9 who goes to a 10. The 0 to 5 is more progress than the 9 to 10, right? And we have to honor that.
Lovely.
And so it's little things like this. For example, we just ran the Great Goals tournament. It's the biggest tournament in the city for grassroots, and we had players from 9 to 15 there. One knockout match, which is who goes into the final, was determined on a coin toss. I mean, do you declare that a win or a loss? It's a coin toss. It's the luck of the draw, really, right? And I think we need our players, and I think I want to point out here what a coach did. The kids started celebrating when they won the coin toss, and the coach said, "Did you really win? What are you celebrating?" And these moments are teaching moments, right?
Do children handle these moments well?
There's always disappointment, right? the team that lost on the coin toss is going to remember that they didn't make the final and they were in the third place match. But what they're going to remember 10 years from now is there was a coach who told the other team, don't celebrate this.
Yes.
That's true.
Who's going to remember the third place of the finals, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to give another example. There was a player who got the Fair Play Award for himself in a tournament. MVP. Yeah, he got the Most Valuable Player Award, and then he told the organizers on the mic, and I'm talking about a 10-year-old. He says, I don't deserve it. My team member deserves it. And he calls that boy onto the stage, and he says, and gave the cup to him. And I think that is an important.
See, these are the moments where I feel great goals makes the difference.
These
right?
are life-defining moments.
I want to actually share this little story about our two boys. They were 10, 11 years old?
11 years
it
old.
was a tournament they played in. And, her son came and told my son, we lost this match because of you, because my son was the goalkeeper. Okay. And he was feeling terrible about it. But then we both felt it was a teaching moment, and we called and we said, okay, there's the striker, there's the next, there's the midfield, there's the defense, and then there's the goalkeeper. And if the ball reached the goalkeeper, how did it get there? That means there was failure from 1, 2, 3 lines before it reached the goalkeeper, and then the goalkeeper failed and it hit the net, right? And so let's not go easily for blame from the front to the back. Let's talk about the whole team. And I think even for us as owners of a youth football club to articulate this, I think that was a defining moment for us, because also it involved our boys. So there was no partiality. There was no, we weren't targeting other children, whatever. But I think it was a defining moment for how we articulated that you are a team and you win as a team and you lose as a team. And that's a very important kind of learning this thing.
So we're talking about life skills. Some of the life skills that come to my mind when you spoke about the different stories were self-management, teamwork, discipline, and anything else that comes to your mind?
I think resilience, pride and humility, how I'll club them all together. Okay. And another big one is how you deal with failure. And again, that's tied with the resilience. And resilience is actually about how you pick yourself up, how you handle the knocks, how you handle the disappointments, how you deal with failure. And these are all components that somewhat sports teaches you automatically. We talked about competition before. Obviously, if someone wins, someone has lost. Correct. Right? And there is disappointment, there will be tears, but it's also, I'll take it to a live situation where you've let in a goal, right? And you're down a goal, you're down 2 goals, you're down 3 goals. But what we teach our kids is at every moment act as if the match is still 0-0. So you're playing and you're attacking and defending as a unit till the last moment when the whistle is blown. And that is something that is so ingrained in them that yes, I am feeling down. I feel I let my players down. I feel I let my team down. Whatever it is, I'm not giving my best. I ask to be substituted. That's also a realization that I can't do this, and I'm pushing something that is not happening. I need a break, kind of thing. These are all little things that sport teaches you on the field.
That's right.
Which you can
But
take
also
forward.
in life,
Yeah.
right? Also in life, like all of this, I think even now, I feel I'd have to apply to my life on a daily basis.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So,
And it's little things like, I won by a big margin. There has to be a humility in that win.
Yeah.
And there has to be grace in your loss. And those are such important things. And how do you teach this?
Yeah, I mean, every one of us, right, at work, it's not that every day is a perfect day. No. There are days when, you just go in like really stressed and, things are not going the way you want, but you pull yourself up and you say, okay, I'm going to just continue doing what I'm doing, try to work hard. There are things which might not work out. You might have to, decide to take tough decisions for certain reasons. That also you have to do. I mean, and then you say, okay, you weigh the pros and cons, and then you shut down. And I think these are all things which we're not going to be learning in management schools, or these are things which you learn right from when you're young. That's true. I think we underplay it quite a bit, but I think that's what we all have been learning, and it comes to action when we are in our real lives.
absolutely.
And Kavita, if I may, I want to add one more thing, which is reflection. I mean, now we see schools building reflection into learning, right? And after every match, the debrief, sometimes, they'd have lost they'd have lost the match, but the way our coaches are debriefing or we are talking on field, it'll be like they won the World Cup. Because they'd have played their hearts out. They played so brilliantly. They've played to plan. But today was not their day to win, right? And sometimes you need to recognize that as well. And I think that's a skill that we really need to teach kids. That when you reflect, did you give it everything you had? And did the outcome may not be this thing, but did you give the journey everything you had?
And even for a win, I think you have to reflect. Sometimes you might have won, but not just because of what you did well, but because, of certain other reasons.
Yes.
And it's important. Reflection, I think, is really, really key.
And I like what you said about sending in a substitute, which also translates into life. So when you are at a very high corporate level position and somehow you feel you're not giving your best, you should have that in you to say, okay, fine, let me bring in somebody who's the expert in this, who can take it forward. Doesn't look like that would be me now. So that they've already learned on the sports field, which they're bringing into.
It's also that ability to pause, right?
Right.
Okay, I can't do this. I need a break. I need to step back and I need to go back in with a little more energy, with a little more focus. And
I'd also want to add self-awareness at this point, because that's what this all, comes up to, being aware of what they need.
Who they are, yeah.
That's true.
Correct.